Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to take a look at the Monkey Fist Survival 5-in-1 bracelet, and we're going to test out those 5 functions. Alright everybody, welcome back. So, the folks at Monkey Fist Survival were nice enough to send these along for review. I'm going to definitely try them out and see how I like them. They are a 5-in-1 paracord bracelet. And if you're like me, you don't have much luck making paracord. I can do small things like, lanyards and stuff like that. But doing a bracelet, I always end up messing up. No matter how closely I watch the video and move it over here. And I screw it up every time. Maybe if I sat and really concentrated on it, I could get it. But I just stink at doing it. So I pay people to do mine, The last one of these I had was a lot bigger. I forget who makes it. Was it Streamlight? It had a flashlight in it and a ferro rod. But it was so big, it was like this big honking thing on your arm. So these are kind of a little bit smaller. And we're going to test out their functions and see how well they work. Now, he sent me 2 sizes. There are 3 sizes for this. This is the small, recommended for wrists 8 inches and under. This is the large. It's recommended for wrists between 9 and 10 inches. I'm about 8.5, 9. And the medium is recommended for wrists by 7 to 8 inches. So this is a pretty neat little system. It's got a bunch of little stuff hidden on it, although you can probably tell there's a bunch of little things. I'm going to give you a close-up because we're going to test the small one. Let me move the large one out of there. One thing I want to show you. The compasses, right on the money. They're both pointing exactly the same way, and that is east. That is the correct direction. So I was impressed with that. Normally when you get a little tiny button compass like this, they're junk. These actually work very well. No problems at all. So, first thing we're going to do is check out the whistle. Now there is a whistle on here. You can see that right here. We're going to blow on it and check it out. Yeah, that's definitely pretty loud. I'm pleased with that. Did have to open it up. I was getting this was shoving against my face and I couldn't do it right. So I did have to open it up. So the next feature. When you open it up, you have a small, kind of sharpish knife. Not too, it's more of a ripper than a cutter. I feel the, kind of jagged edge on it, which is fine for what we're doing. This is an emergency knife. This isn't something you're going to carry every single day of your life. So you got that. You also have the paracord itself, which does make excellent tinder. Can also be used to put up a shelter, a very short kind of ridge line for a tarp or something. So you got that. And then lastly, you have this little thing in here. And I'll tell you, I have something exciting coming for you guys pretty soon, so we won't be messing around with comments like, please focus, please focus. So, hang out for that. I have a ferro rod in here. Now, as you can tell, I've struck this a few times. It does make sparks. But we're actually going to put it to the test today. We're going to try and start a small fire with it, because I'm doing it in here, because it's just too windy outside this morning. We're going to try and start out a little fire with it and see how it works with a bunch of different tinders. Now, something I will tell you, using the back of this is kind of difficult. All right, I'm not going to lie to you on that. Using the back of that knife. Now, I probably could use the front, but then you'd ruin the blade. I doubt this is, super hardened steel. So you'll probably dull the blade. In a real emergency, who cares? But you'll probably dull it. However, the back of this wasn't too easy to get a spark off with. I don't know if I can get it now. Probably not, because I'm on camera. Yeah, I actually got a spark. But it's not the easiest. So what I'm going to do, being that I always carry 2 things on my person, that's my pocket knife. And for those of you wondering, this is a SEMA knife. I got this a long time ago from them. I've been using it ever since. Yes, it's a low-dollar knife, but you know what? For everyday carry, this thing is awesome. And it's got a super sharp spine on it. Opens nice and easy. So that's pretty much my everyday carry knife. If I lose it, what have I lost? A $17 knife? Not a big deal. Sometimes I will carry a more expensive folder, but for my everyday carry, this thing still shaves hair. It's still razor sharp. So I'm going to use the spine of this, being that I always carry this knife. And we saw that does work. It will make a spark, but I'd rather make it a little easier because we got a really tiny ferro rod here. And another thing I always carry on my person, this little capsule here, and this capsule usually just has tinder in it. So we're going to give ourselves the best chance because I got 3 different types of tinder in here. I have a piece of char cloth. Of course, my favorite. I'll keep some dryer lint in there. And lastly, some waxed jute twine that is really stuck in there. There we go. Some waxed jute twine in the bottom. So we're going to use a little bit of everything and give ourselves the best possible chance. I'm also going to use the knife to see how well it can get some fat wood shavings off, small pieces of fat wood. So once this gets going, I can put the fat wood in there and then throw my bigger sticks on and have a real fire. Right here, we're not going to do that. We're just going to do it on a little piece of metal that I have. I'll try it out and start it out. So let me get that all set up, and I'll bring you back. All right, so I got all my tinder out. I cut off a little piece of that rope, the little jute twine, kind of fluffed it up, a little bit of the dryer lint, a little bit of the char cloth, and it's all set up. Now, one thing I am going to do first is we want to get some of that fat wood cut. So we're going to try this knife and see how well it works. Now, remember, this isn't going to be, this is an emergency knife. This isn't going to be for chopping down trees or batoning. Getting little chunks there. It's definitely sharp. Like I said, it's got more of a rough edge, a ripping edge, not a smooth razor edge on it, at least from what I can feel. So I'm getting some chunks off here. It smells really good. Let's try the back of it. There's some chunks of fat wood there. And like I said, with something this small, I'm going to take every advantage I can get. I'm going to use all the tinder I carry. I'm going to use whatever I can to get as much possible ignition out of that tiny little ferro rod that I can get. So that's doing a pretty good job scraping. Now I'm going to have to wipe that off because all that fat wood will prevent it from sparking. But doing a pretty good job. So let's toss that on there too. There's no such thing as cheating if you get a fire going. So as far as I'm concerned, if you need a fire going and this is all you got, and I always carry tinder with me, always. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and start a fire with this tiny little ferro rod and the back. If the back doesn't work, we're going to move on to the knife that I always have on me with a really good 90-degree spine. So give me a second to clean off the back of this because I don't want to get all that fat wood in there. And we'll bring you back. All right, so I think I got it all off. I just wiped it with a towel and it was sparking, so this isn't going to be a traditional kind of thing where you put this in here and move slow and strike, and it's not going to work that way. It's too small. So you're kind of going to have to hope that your sparks hit their mark. And look at that. 2 strikes. And I got it going. So, while I say it's not easy to use that back end, it certainly worked. The spine of this is kind of serrated. I don't know if you can see that in the light here. But the second strike, that thing was up and going. Now, yeah, I used a lot of tinder there. But if you're in an emergency, are you going to be like, oh, this isn't really right. I should use less tinder. No, you're going to light a fire however you can get it going. So I got to say, for a tiny little ferro rod and a knife that, a spine of a knife that I didn't really think was going to be able to do much, it did work. I'm impressed. And it was able to get me some nice shavings on the fat wood. I could have easily gotten a fire started with that. No problem at all. I could have put more tinder down if I wanted. That was about half of what I had in this little tube. So it definitely works. Definitely comfortable to wear as opposed to, I'm going to put the bigger one on because that's the one that was sent for me to actually use. And I'll show you. Now they do keep a, you notice there's a plastic cover over that knife. I'm going to keep that on there just to be safe. So yeah, it's just will keep your arm safe if you're putting it in there. And being that you're putting it in like this with that knife sticking out. So as you can tell, it fits on there pretty nice. It's not too obnoxious like my other one that's really, really big. If you want to wear it like this, kind of incognito mode without anybody knowing, or you can put it up like that if you need the compass. Compass is still pointing the correct direction. So I gotta say, I believe these are, $9.95 for $10? They work pretty darn well. All in all, they do what they're supposed to do. There we go. Yep, right on the money. So they do what they're supposed to do. The ferro rod does work. Again, you're going to have to use this a little differently, a little non-traditional. You're not going to be able to stick it down in your tinder and strike, 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 and then hit it slow. You're going to have to go from a distance and kind of throw the spark into it. But it worked, and there's still plenty of ferro rod left there for a bunch more fires. So another thing too is this has a little locking system. I don't know if the camera shows that up. You see that little T shape up there? It actually locks into here on the back of this where the T shape goes. So you'll slide that in and it will lock into place like that. My other, I believe it's the Streamlight one. It doesn't lock in, so you kind of have to bend the ferro rod into the plastic a little bit to make it a kind of a stiff fit. This locks right in place, so you don't have to worry about losing it. So, gotta say, for 10 bucks, I'm impressed. It worked, did what it was supposed to do. So, that's the video for today. If you want to check them out, I will put a link down below. And I thank them for sending me these to test out. They are actually pretty cool, and I'm actually very happy they work very well. So, I thank you guys for watching today. Don't forget to check out our Thrive Life store down below if you're interested in getting started in some freeze-dried foods. We also have our Amazon store down there that I know you guys have been awesome about that. And because of you guys using it so much, I am able to do a very big upgrade for this channel, which you'll see in a few days. A little side note, this weekend is my birthday weekend. Actually, Monday is officially my birthday. So I'm probably going to be gone for the rest of the weekend. If you don't see videos from me till next week, that's where I am. We have a lot of busy stuff coming up this next week too. So probably the next video you'll see from me probably will be Friday, unless I manage to sneak in a video tomorrow. But that's about it. So anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. Stay safe and stay prepared.